Hey, well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Bishop. And you know what? I thought with the message on this morning at our 10 o'clock service at New Life, Let It Go, Therapy for Jonah and Me. I think we probably needed to do a deeper dive. How about that? A deeper dive with the message. And I really wanted to engage you with virtual New Life and let the audience gather a little bit and let's give you kind of the protocol and the rules of engagement here. First of all, this is a conversation between you and I. And if you were watching the message Sunday, fine, or today, I should say. If you didn't, that's fine because we're going to go over it. And I want to engage you and see what you thought of it as I kind of walk through it one more time. I'm going to walk through it one more time, let my audience gather, and we're just going to have a conversation. And the whole message today was Let It Go, Therapy for Jonah and Me. I invited the whole congregation to get on the couch, to get on the couch. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want you to talk back to me right in the chat area. We're going to have a candid conversation and engagement, principally principally about therapy and what that means. Well, good afternoon, Vicky. How are you? How are you doing today? Mabel, how are you doing? Good afternoon, good evening to you. Elder Mobley, how are you on this day? And Ashton, future minister, praise God. You say today was powerful. Great, great, great. So what we want to do, we want to have a conversation. Now share it right now. Share it right now and share with me also what you thought of the message. Now on the crawler below, good evening, good afternoon, Rashonda, how are you? On the crawler below, you see the 3 points that we talked about. Let it go. I said, let it God. How about that? How about that? Let me change that right now. Let's change that right now. Let me get on top of that. Let God. Okay, that ain't what we were talking about. Let's get on this and change that right now. That's supposed to be let it go. I got up there, let it God. How about that? Let it go. Let's try this again. There we go. But at any rate, let it go. Therapy for Jonah and Me. Ship therapy, fish therapy, anger management. That's what we kind of covered today. And we're going to go over that today. And I want you to reach out, tell me what you're thinking, tell me your thoughts and all of that. And tell somebody that we're on. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you to let's go deeper. Good afternoon, Diane. How are you? Good afternoon, Brenda. How are you? I guess y'all saying it's evening. I think it's still afternoon, but that's okay. That's all right. Pastor Leah, how are you? Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you thought. First question I want to ask you. The first question I want to ask you is, what do you think about therapy for Christians? What do you think about therapy for Christians? Hey, Anna, how are you doing? I hope if you didn't watch the message, we're going to kind of walk through it and talk about it. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it today and next Sunday. I'm telling you right now. Let me tell you something right now. The message that's coming. You think today was off the chain? God has downloaded into me, and this coming Sunday on Father's Day, it's on. Trust when I tell you, it's on. Venetia, how are you on today, this evening? Elder Jan, how are you on this evening? Annette, how are you on this evening? Says all good. Who is this? Coach Dagny, how are you on this evening? Minister Joy, how are you on this evening? I need you to share right now. I want my virtual new life to come on board with me as well. Hey, Lynette, how you doing? How you doing? Were you up in the balcony or were you watching on TV? Don't know which one. But anyhow, let me give you the rules of engagement. Rules of engagement is that anything goes. I want to hear from you. The way you're going to engage me, you're going to have the comments in the area. I'm going to put it on the screen. You're going to let me know what your thoughts were of the word. If you didn't watch the word, that's fine. We're going to walk through it. We're not going to be up here all day. Not going to trouble you and wear your patience, as we say. But we're gonna really share the word, and that's it. So the first question I want to ask is, what do you think about therapy? Thumbs up or thumbs down? What is it? Thumbs up or thumbs down? What do you think about Christians and therapy? A believer in therapy. Let me see it in the area. I want to see that before we get into the word. You ever been to therapy? You ever been to counseling? What do you think of counseling? Ashton says it's fine. It's thumbs up. Let me hear from somebody else. Let me hear from somebody else. What do you think? Minister Joy, what do you think? Coach Dagny, what do you think? Okay. Tia Griffin, therapy is so necessary, just like prayer. Sometimes I don't know what I'll pray for when I speak with God and the Holy Spirit has his way. When I go to therapy, it's just like that. Oh my God, Tia. Oh my God. I love that. I love that. You know, uh, uh, I'm a retired Air Force chaplain. That's what I did. That was the predominance of my work was counseling with people and talking with people. Since then, I've gained even more education in that whole area. Not a licensed therapist, but can be considered a pastoral care counselor, and it is something that I think we should do. But I love what you're saying, Tia. Let me hear from some other folk as well. Therapy is so necessary. Do you all see that on the screen? I want to make sure that you see that on the screen. Let me get to here. Ashton says, in grief therapy now. Oh, wow. That's right. Lost your dad recently. Lost your dad recently. And it's really something that you have to work through that. Um, Rashonda, what are your thoughts about therapy? Therapy is needed. Sometimes it's all good. Good, good, good. Things have kind of changed because when I was growing up, we use words that we should not use with respect to therapy. You're crazy. You need a psych. All of those things. You're demon possessed. All of those kinds of things. And it really caused people not to really go get help. You would not break an arm, walk around with the bone sticking out and saying, you know what, pray about it. You wouldn't. You tell somebody, go put that in a sling, go to the hospital, do something. Now, I've been to therapy and it helped me through some troubled times. Elder Lawson. Okay, great. Great, great. Lee says it'll bring things out that you suppress for a long time. Wow. 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 Okay, Coach Dagny. Don't be stealing my phrases. With Jesus in therapy, you are unstoppable. Okay, good God. You know what? I'm going to what do you call that? I'm going to get the rights on that statement because folk like Coach Dagny be stealing it and stuff. Can't be having that out there. Copyright. That's what I'm looking for. Yep. All right. Other thoughts. Other thumbs up. That's the question that I want to ask now. In the text from Jonah. In the text from Jonah, and let me just kind of take you there in the text of Jonah. Here it is. It says, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it because its wickedness have drawn up against me. But Jonah did what? Jonah ran away from the Lord, headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for for that port. After paying the fare, he got on. What happened? He got on the ship and there was a storm. Then what then jumped off? What jumped off? People were going off. They were going totally crazy. They were trying to figure out what to do. And they asked around, pray for your God, pray to your God. And they came up to Jonah. And what went down? Jonah, you got to be the one. Notice the small g because they all were seeing it's God. Now, let me tell you something from a exegetical point of view. The Bible never speaks against other gods or doesn't deny. Let me say that. The Bible does not deny the presence of other gods. It just simply don't have one before him. Let me say that again, because sometimes we get all confused. He said Israelites were the first people to have a monotheistic approach to God. Others had multiple gods that they built, that they fed, that they did all of that. Israel was the first ones that says we are monotheistic. We have one God. And then that God we won't put any other God before them. So notice the small g, and this is what they said. They said, now you pray to your God because clearly something is jumping off with you. Now, what happened? What happened with that? They threw him overboard because of this. He was asleep. He will sleep. How is it that you're asleep? Because you must be depressed. Has anybody ever been depressed? I'm not talking about always something that you need to be take medication for, but you've just been sad. Last Sunday we were praying on the altar, and I said we're coming against the spirit of sadness. And my God, bam, people were responding because there was a spirit of sadness in there. I believe it's needed. It's necessary evil as it relates to Christians. My belief is that you need to be able to go deeper. That's what we're doing. Than you may be able to get with your pastor. That's right. Only because the time that it may take. But not just that. Not just that. I will tell you, as a senior pastor, I will refer out. I refer out if you're on medication. I refer out if I know it's going to take a long length of time to get to where we're trying to get to. And I refer out when the situation is above my ability. Sure do. Absolutely. So you're right. Team Brown says this: a firm believer in therapy definitely does work. Okay. Ethel Coleman says, I have been to therapy. Without it, I'm not sure of my outcome. Wow. Wow. That's wow. So true. So true. So true. Let me ask this question, and then we're going to get back to going deeper in the text. Let me ask this question. What do you think about your pastor having a counselor? Let me hear from you. How about that? What do you think about your pastor? I ain't just talking about life changes. I'm talking about in general. What do you think about that? Let me hear from you. I encourage that. I have an executive coach, have a covering, and when needed, I have a counselor, someone, a professional that I can talk to, just like you. Sometimes we want to always think, "Oh my God, this person is just superhuman." No, absolutely not. Cut me and I'll bleed just like you. Break my arm and I need a sling just like you. So we need that. Let me see what Tia has to say. Tia says, my pastor at my home church in NOLA, I guess that's New Orleans, has a counselor. I said amen to that. He has also brought in mental health professionals for some men's Bible studies. Great, fantastic. That's what it's all about. So now let's get back to other things. So we know he's depressed. You can have minor depression. You don't have to be committed, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Or you don't need medication. Sometimes you can be in minor depression, and you can know that by your sleeping habits or your eating habits. I always know that I am getting depressed when I want a lot of candy. Candy then fuels and it goes to those areas of affirmation that I need. So when I'm asking for a lot of candy and I'm looking for a lot of candy, more it tells me, and it may not even be my affect, it may not even be how I'm flowing, but I know my body. And I know when I start asking for a lot of candy, Milky Way, when I want some hard candy, and I'm talking about excess to excess, I know then that I'm troubled about something, but it has not yet manifested itself. How about that? Okay. Minister Joy said, your experience with the counselor opens me, or I guess my experience with the counselor opens you up to be receptive of what you say. Talking about me, concerning counselor. Oh, okay. Okay. I get that. I get that. Says, I believe that my pastor needs therapy. Pastors are human also. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So let's go back to that. So he's depressed. Talked about depression. What happens next? What happens next? This is what happens next. Then he goes into the water and he gets into fish therapy. The whole fish therapy piece. Did you grab that? Did you understand that? I don't want to say the same things that I said. I want to say more and go deeper. When he went over and he filled his whole time with I, me. What does that tell you? What does that tell you when you're talking about that? When it's all about you, when it's all about you. When it's all about you, when it's all about you, the focus is so much on you. That's not our walk. I'm not saying don't take care of yourself. I'm not saying don't be self-reflective. I'm not saying don't do some things that really build yourself up. I'm not saying that at all. But when you become, let me use this word, selfish, when you become selfish, as he becomes, you become self-centered. When you become self-centered, you're on your way to self-righteousness. Self-centered, selfish, self-centered, self-righteous. Because you have to build a cocoon around that existence, because none of us is an island unto ourselves. God never created us to be an island to ourselves. He created us to be interdependent. He created us to be in community. When you pull out of community, you must then justify that. You have to justify that. The way you justify, I'm not going to fool with people, you must find something wrong with them. I'm preaching better than y'all responding and chatting. You have to find something wrong with them. And oh my God, there you just hit it. Narcissistic. Narcissistic is not always, and we don't clearly understand that. But narcissistic is when it's so self internal. You think it's all about, oh, I'm cute, or I'm handsome, or I'm beef and I'm buff, or I'm fine, or I got the hourglass shape. No, narcissism isn't all about, oh, I'm presenting or projecting my physical prowess on someone. Narcissism says I'm so wrapped up with myself, as Royce has said. She says that's on point. That I then have to then justify not being in community. When I'm justified not being in community, I must find something wrong with the community. I have to find something wrong with the community. What I'm saying is that in my selfishness, my self-centeredness, and then therefore my self-righteousness, then I am permitting myself to be the God of my situation. I'm preaching better than y'all responded. I'm permitting myself to be the God of my salvation, of my situation, because I must be the one that is right, and everybody else, because they're trying to intrude or come into where I am, have to be wrong. And therefore, if I then come out of that, what happens is that God calls us into community, because it is in community that we are challenged about our positions. Jonah says, I don't want to be challenged, not even from God. I don't want to be challenged, not even from God. Away with you, God. And then when he prays, we're still in the second point. When he prays, notice this, it becomes full of I, and he becomes a victim. He says, I have to be a victim in this. There's no other way that I can there we go. There's no other way I can justify my disposition unless I'm a victim. There's no other way. I cannot justify where I am unless I'm a victim. So to that end, when you see people playing the victim card, when you see them always playing the victim card, it's a dangerous situation to be around, because nothing will satisfy them. Nothing will satisfy them. To the roots of the mountains they sank, and the earth beneath buried me in forever. But you, Lord, my God, brought me lift up from the pit. I'm the victim. He does have enough sense to say, God, bring me out. When God brings him out, what happens? then there is anger management. Anger management. Story, I'll come back. When I was an Air Force chaplain, and the Air Force sent me to um, University of Memphis to get a counseling degree. It was crisis intervention counseling. I knew one type of counseling. They were sending me to really step in and help people who were in crisis. So in one year, one academic year, I got my EDS, my specialist in education in crisis intervention counseling, and I'll never forget it. I took 18 hours per semester plus a full time intern, 36 hours total in one academic year. And in that, taking that, part of my intern, going somewhere with this, part of my intern was I was over anger management. There were men who were, and some women who were court ordered into anger management. And I learned how to do counseling and quick intervention and helping people with their anger management. Now, here is Jonah dealing with his anger management situation. Kelly says this, says counseling is therapeutic. I attend individual and group counseling to help me in my walk. Life is hard and it happens to us all. If you need counseling, there's nothing wrong with seeking help. Exactly right. And so in this, you in this anger management class, and I sometimes I was scared because there were some people who were very dangerous in the class, quite dangerous. And we were at this kind of family center in the middle of that in the projects in the middle of the hood. And yeah, I was scared sometimes, but I was doing this anger management, and I learned a lot about anger, and I recognize it in the text. In the text, as Jonah had gone out and sat down under a tree at a place in the east, and there he made himself a shelter, set in there. And then let me get to this. Let me get to this here. And here's the thing that is just so ever. When the sun rose, God provided scorching east wind, and the sun blazed, so on and so forth. But God said to Jonah, is it right for you to be angry with the plant? Is it right for you to be angry like that? Now, notice this. When he says this, I want you to grab this. He says, and the Lord said, you do well to be so angry. Jonah went out in the city and he sat under the tree. Here's the point that I want to get to. He says, oh, when the sun rose, and but God said to Jonah, do not. And he said, yes, I do well to be angry, enough to die. The ninth verse. I'm so angry, I could die. I don't want to deal with my community. My justification after you had the thing to grow over me, and you pointed out to me that I can't control that. And why would I be so angry with a worm and a leaf that is now gone? That my stuff is so shallow, God, and you're showing me myself, and I can no longer justify where I am. I just die. Forget about it. That's where you see right now with mass shootings. I'm so angry with the community. Take me out. I'm so angry with my disaffected approach to community. My understanding of how I should be accepted in the community and how the community should accept me, that I have become so self-centered, so self-righteous, so selfish now. I retract back. I must justify. When the justification is taken, what I am left with is what? I'm out. Police shoot me, kill me. Say, well, my God, Bishop, that's kind of serious. Yeah, that is kind of serious. But you may never choose death by suicide, but you can choose death by rejecting everybody. That's what you can choose. Dr. Obi says, thank you, Bishop, for this powerful and transformative word. That's what he says. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Let's go further into the whole thing. Anger had him. Anger had him. Anger defined someone, took your rights. That's what I said. When you pull back from the community, let's go further. Anger must be justified, so you refuse someone's future because of their past. You refuse someone's future because of their past. Jonah said, look, I'm angry with you all. I will not give you a salvific grace for your future. I will not permit you to walk with God for your eternity because I am caught up with your past. When someone constantly brings up things to you of the past, trust when I tell you. Let's look at a few comments. Look at a few comments. Dr. Ken DK, one of our staff members, excellent staff member, says this: my way or the highway, holding all hostages to one's emotions to either do it my way or I'd rather die than change. I'd rather die than change. Wow. Wow. Here it is. Anger is grief's bodyguard. Wow, Kelly. My goodness. Anger is grief's bodyguard. Wow, Royce. Life situation can cause you to be angry, but that is a part of healing. That's a part of healing. You got to heal through that. You got to heal through that. It's kind of like when you do something and guilt comes up, when you sin and guilt comes up and it doesn't feel good. The guilt is to remind you that you need healing in that area. Wow. Sharona says this: being angry doesn't make you weak. It's a natural human emotion. Be angry and sin not. What the word says. Avoiding our true feelings leads to frustration and irritation. Be truthful with yourself because God already knows. God already knows that you're going out, you're coming in. He fearfully and wonderfully made you. He already knows how you feel. He already knows. Good, excellent. Elder Dyer, humility is we are strength. Is our strength. It's really our strength. Erica says this: yes, this richer and deeper than a Sunday morning message. We need more. Okay, Erica, my spiritual daughter always pulling on me. Okay, all right, all right. I'm gonna do more. Nate says it need wisdom. DK said Jesus taught us to be forgiven. We must forgive and not lord it over folk. Coach Dagny, one of our excellent team members, staff members. This is good. The recap is blessing us again. Okay, any other comments before I kind of close this out here? Here it is. Here's some scripture. Here is some balm. Here's some balm for your Gilead situation. Proverbs 14:29 says, whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick tempered displays folly. My father was a quick tempered person. I am subject to that as well, and I have to keep that in check. I'm so much better than I used to be, but I have so much further to go. I remember a story, and I'll come back. When we started the church 20 years ago, we were in the hotel. The manager, who was so good to us, so excellent when we started, she did not have the room set up. I went off, I snapped. My leaders had never seen me like that. I did it, and it embarrassed me. I was embarrassed. Some of my leaders right now, Brother Sam was around, and Cleve was around, and they were there, and it was like, uh, um, Brother McCants, and they were like, oh my goodness, and it was embarrassing. It embarrassed me, to be honest with you. And I saw that quick temper, that kind of quick reaction, because I felt like I was denied my rights from the room being set up. But because I was over people, I had to manage my emotions. I had to raise my EQ. So I pulled back. I apologized to the lady, the manager. I brought her flowers the next day. I let my leaders know that I was wrong. Quick tempered is folly. In other words, it's not going to work. So now I pull way back, and I can be upset. I get quiet. I have to get quiet because I have to pull it in. Be angry, but sin not. It's an emotion, but you have to deal with it. Cornell says, I am angry, yet aware of what's happened was out of my control, but deep down, I still blame myself for my shortcomings. A work in progress. Yes, indeed. All a work in progress. Bishop, this is helping you. Thank you. Thank you. Tia, one more time. How do you forgive? How do you deal with anger, Bishop? Great question. Oh my God. And that's good too. Ask any question that you want. Ask any question that you want. How do you deal with that? James 1:19 has a semblance of an answer. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen. Why am I quick to listen? Because I need to hear what someone is saying. And in hearing them, my faith grows. Faith cometh by what? Hearing. My faith and the ability. I can hear and listen. He that has ears, let him hear. I can also hear my own shortcomings. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. I got to pull back. I have to pull back. How do I do that? Well, some say count to 10. Well, if that works for you, what I'm simply saying, though, is what helps is begin to recognize that anger is physical reaction as well as an emotional. I realize now, and check this: when you get angry, Tia, check how are you physically? What is your pulse like? Are your palms sweaty? Are you getting a headache? Are you tensing up in the back? Notice when you're getting angry, do your jaws get tight? Do you start grinding? Because you can catch that and know I'm on my way. When I'm on my way, then I ask myself the question, how am I best use this emotion? Story, and I'll come back and we're going to wrap it up. When I'm teaching homiletics to the up and coming ministers at New Life, I always tell them in preparing them, I said, look, now I want you to remember, I'm going to teach you and you're going to be prepared before you come before people, but you're going to be nervous. You're going to be nervous. You separate your being nervous from your ability, your call, and the content that you have. Because you are ready from a content point of view. The emotion of nervousness, you got to do something with that. Take a deep breath. You can then walk, you can pace, you can remind yourself when you get nervous, know what to do. Go to the bathroom. I always have to go to the bathroom when I get nervous. Some people say, well, wow, Bishop, you've been preaching a long time. I still get nervous before I come before God's people. I do. I do. I ought to. It ain't something I need to handle like, oh my God, I just got it going on. No. So those are some of the things, Tia, that I believe that can help you. I hope that helped. I hope that helped. Okay, here we go. Then here it is. How the life application. We're almost to the end here, and that is here. One, greatness awaits, but refusal to let it go shuts down your future. The theologian Mike Tyson said, "What? You have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, or else you will lose yourself." Wow. If that ain't a truth from the theologian Mike Tyson, I don't know what is. You have to get a hold of yourself. You have to get a hold of yourself. Here's one of the books that I like that really helps. It's Emotional Intelligence. Emotional Intelligence is a great book, and it really helps you in self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Understanding how my feelings then how my feelings impact other people, and then how I then operate in community, and how I operate in the community affect other people. It's a great book. I encourage you. Emotional Intelligence, trying to get it right here. There you go. Yep. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. Then what? If you don't let your past go, it won't let your future live. Stop playing the victim in your anger game. And finally, serve or give someone when you struggle with, and watch your heart change. T, I hope those things help. I'm going to leave them on the screen as we wrap it up. Any other thoughts? Let me just get some more thoughts here. Minister Joy, if you're not nervous before going in front of God's people, then maybe that's person that you're full of yourself. Vicky, this life is not about us, but we do it for others. Brenda says this, good therapy session. I probably need to be in therapy. Repressed memories are starting to creep up. Yeah, I told you all about some of those that I was dealing with there. Elder Mobley, don't let your pain keep you from your purpose. I like that. I like that. Cornell says that. Thank you for the wonderful word. And any others? What is Vicky? Vicky, what do you have to say? This life is not about. Oh, you've said that already. I got that on there. All right. Well, tell me what you think. Next Sunday, I'm going to do this with the Father's Day message. The Father's Day message, I got to encourage you one more time. I know you may have your church that you go to, but you've got to catch the message, even if you watch it afterwards. If you're a life changer, need to be in the house. If you're not on vacation or just chilling or at a brunch, I know you'd rather go to the 8 o'clock services. Summer schedule says, though, we got one service, 10 o'clock. And I just bless God for you. If this bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. Share this. Even share it right now. I should have been sharing it right now. Share it. Let somebody else get it. And I'll see you next Sunday, Father's Day, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, as we go deeper, as we review the word and what it is saying. God bless you. See you in the morning with Morning